I have a problem today, and that problem has a name. I just watched Hakeem Jeffries stand in front of the country and tell you something that is provably false. That cornball said the Supreme Court took away black people's right to vote. I actually had a man talking to another man while in the line, and I had to resist saying something. He was saying, Trump took away black people's rights to vote today. As a matter of fact, he got rid of affirmative action. Now they're not going to get hired. I thought to myself, stop right there. Not one black person in Louisiana lost their vote. Not one.
Yeah, we got to talk about it. Y'all sent me this clip from this guy by the name of Al Buffalo tonight. And man, is this guy fiery. I've seen him before. Matter of fact, actually, I have played you guys a couple of his clips, but I've never checked out his content, any of his longer clips or anything like that. And man, this guy, he's onto it. He's onto it. And I got a clip for y'all today that I want to play from him. So I'm not going to do too much talking. Let's jump right on into it, shall we?
I'm going to prove to you right now what the Democrats' systems produce. Not what to say, not what they promise, not the speeches, not the celebrity activism like you saw yesterday, and not the emotional manipulation. I'm going to talk about measurable outcomes after 50 to 60 years of control. Period, point blank. You can argue with yourself in a dark corner if you'd like to. Because if political ideology controls the schools, the prosecutors, the mayors, the city council, the welfare system, the public housing, the media narratives, the health departments, and the cultural messaging, then the outcomes belong to them, the Democrats, period. Sit down for this. And what are the outcomes inside many long-term Democrat-controlled cities, like the one I live at? Higher homicide rates, higher violent crime exposure, higher overdose rates, higher fatherlessness, higher school failure, higher gang density, higher dependency, higher incarceration, higher business flight, and higher trauma exposure. That is not racism to behold that. That's governance. Now contrast with the poor Midwestern conservative. A family barely surviving on 70 acres. No massive government assistance, no endless equity programs, no racial grievance industries, no celebrity race hustlers, no billion-dollar urban incentives. Just a mother, a father, work, discipline, community, standards and expectations, chore, faith, ownership, accountability, and responsibility. And despite having much less, these people often produce safer children, lower homicide exposure, higher family stability, better behavioral outcomes, less addiction, less chaos, and stronger communities. Have you asked yourself why? Look at this chart. 50% of all murders come out of these areas. Why? Because culture matters more than their political theater. That farmer's child is statistically less likely to even hear gunfire at night, which I hear all the time. Walk past teddy bear zones and street memorials, balloons that are tied to trees because someone got shot, stabbed, run over, or killed there. Normalize narcotics trafficking. Develop chronic hypervigilance, or grow up surrounded by violent retaliatory cycles and actions. Meanwhile, in many Democrat-controlled urban zones, children grow up adapted to this chaos. Their nervous system is firing in all directions. Police lights become normal. Memorial balloons become normal. Street shrines become normal. Those teddy bear zones I just talked about, drug markets become normal. Drug dealing becomes normal. Overdoses on the sidewalk, the blue bodies you step over on the way to school. And fatherlessness becomes normal. I'm the abnormal one.
Yeah, I mean, he's right. And unfortunately, death becomes just this normal thing. I told you guys about a conversation that I had with this guy at the barbershop once, and he was adamant because we were having a discussion on policing at the time, and he was adamant on, no, if a cop tries to arrest me, I'm going to fight him. And I'm telling him, like, bro, that is not conducive to you making it home. And he was just like, I don't care. I'll die. I'm like, for what? He was like, because the cops not going to put their hands on me. And I'm like, like he had become numb to just dying. And it's like, bro, you going to die. That cop ain't going to jail because you fought them. So they going back home he's going back home to his family. You going to get put 6 feet in the dirt. Some of the people that actually love you going to put you on a t-shirt. That t-shirt is going to be worn for about 6 months. After about 6 months, it's going to be faded. And then, you know, every year on the day that you died, you know, a couple of people going to release some balloons in remembrance of you. But meanwhile, you still 6 feet in the dirt. For what? And you think you're going to call yourself a real N-word. Yeah, you a real one and you dead. Congratulations, you played yourself. Like, I said these words to him. He was like, I don't care. He was adamant on, I will die. And it's like, bro, how could you be so numb to that? But it's situations like this. And I think he was from, I forgot where he told me he was from, but he was from like a big blue city. Maybe it was Chicago for some reason that's popping up in my head, but I don't know. But yeah. So he's right, man.
Having raised my children, and then the same politicians who created these environments scream at you about systemic oppression while they've controlled that system for generations. I just want you to make that make sense. Just seriously, Mr. or Mrs. Democrat, sit there and think about it for just a moment. If the Democrat way works, why are so many people fleeing these cities? If their policies work, why are their schools collapsing with less than 20 to 30% proficiencies in nearly every subject? If their policies worked, why do children in these neighborhoods develop trauma responses from chronic violence exposure? And then racist gets on X, videotapes that trauma response, and then says, well, look at these black animals. Listen, if these Democrat policies work, why are homicide maps concentrated in the same urban corridors decade after decade after decade?
I mean, why are people fleeing blue states to go to red ones? I mean, there is such numbers of people leaving blue states that it is going to shift the balance of power in the next census. If those policies genuinely worked, why are people leaving? But then also, if you want to go a little deeper than that, if Democrat policies genuinely worked, if voting Democrat is genuinely a great idea, why do we still have black people complaining about some of the same things that they were complaining about back then? They complain about them today. Why? Just saying.
And this is the part no one wants to say publicly. The people defending these systems do not care about the outcomes. I'm talking about results, outcomes. Because if they cared about the outcomes, they would be talking nonstop about family formation, crime reduction, educational discipline, ownership, economic development, violent offender removals. Get rid of these people. Get them out of the neighborhood. Drug interdiction and protecting children from the very chaos Democrat policies create. But instead, they keep selling outrage. Why? Because outrage keeps the machine alive. The Democrat system survives by converting suffering into political loyalty while neighborhoods continue collapsing around the people trapped inside of them. And every time someone points to the actual outcomes like me, they get called a coon, an Uncle Tom, a Sambo, a sellout, a self-loathing slob. Not because what I say is false, not because these statistics are false, but because the statistics expose the truth. This has been engineered. The poor conservative family with less money is often producing better human outcomes than the heavily funded urban Democrat machine produces. And that destroys their entire narrative because it proves the issue was just never resources to begin with. It was values, folks. It was incentives, culture, family structure, accountability, and environmental stability. They don't want that. They want what you've been watching for the last 7 decades in Philadelphia. And the homicide charts tell the truth. The overdose charts tell the truth. The literacy charts tell the truth. The migration patterns tell the truth. And after 60 years, Americans are starting to now notice. And this has been a stone groove.
Yeah. Shout out to him, man. He was 1,000% on point. 1,000%. If Democrat policies worked, why are people leaving those same areas? Why is there still a perpetual cycle of the same stuff over and over? And their only recourse is higher taxes and blame white people. That's it. Or blame Republicans. That's their only comeback. Oh, well, we got to tax more. Oh, well, the white man. Oh, well, the Republican Party. And it's like, wait, what? Y'all have been controlling this city for 80 years. Ain't nothing changed. As a matter of fact, it's gotten worse. It's gotten worse. And you blame Republicans? How does that even make any sense? You see that in Chicago with Mayor Brandon Johnson. There hasn't been a Republican in Chicago, and I believe it's been like 80 years. But yet they'll blame Republicans for how the city is underwater. How does that make any sense? You know? It's absolutely crazy, man. And like you said, I'm happy that people are waking up and taking notice. It is beautiful to see. Democrats are all talk. And none of it actually pans out. When they actually do get a chance to implement their policies, they're absolutely terrible. It's detrimental. It leads to nothing but poverty, crime, ridden, just filthy, filled with homelessness. You know, I mean, it's absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. The one time that a Republican was able to run a big blue city, New York City, Rudy Giuliani, how well did that go? We all know. Went well. You know? So we see the difference. We see the difference. But as always, I just wanted to share that with y'all. Matter of fact, let me post him up on the screen for y'all so y'all can go and give him a follow. Bam! There you go. Pause it if you need to. Al Buffalo Tonight. All right? There you go. There is his X account. That is where that video clip that I just played for you all came from. Okay? Right here. You can follow him on X. Okay? Like I said, pause that if you need to. But thanks for tuning in as always. Y'all stay safe out there, all right? Peace and love. I'm out.